Want to do the roll call for us?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hannon,
Yes, I'm here.
Commissioner Berlandi, Rich, are you still there? There you go.
Yeah, I'm here. It's the old mute button again.
You're rusty. You took off one meeting and you're Commissioner Fox,
I'm here.
Commissioner Eisner,
Here.
Commissioner Kelsey,
I'm here.
Commissioner Simpson,
Here.
Commissioner Stachin,
Here.
Emily Brick, and Robert Canto. All right, Chair, it's all yours.
All right, with that, we'll call the meeting in order 7 o'clock. New business, BB Development LLC, 368 Plainville Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney James Ziogas for the applicant. I hope everybody can hear me. I know my video is not very good. I apologize for that. I don't know why. In any event, this is property that is located at 368 Plainville Avenue, formerly a gas station, which had been under remediation for a number of years. It is now in a water quality assessment status where they're monitoring the wells just to see the attenuation of the contaminants that were in the ground. The property is located at the intersection of Burlington Road and Plainville Avenue. And as I said, it's historically been used as a service station, basically providing gasoline and automobile repairs. The site is 66,500 square feet, and it is serviced by city sewer and city water. The wetlands delineation for this property was originally done back in March of 2021 by Scott Stevens. And then we had it reevaluated by JMM Wetlands Consulting LLC. And his findings basically confirmed the findings of Scott Stevens and his report of March 2021. The applicant has submitted plans for approval of a convenience store with fueling capabilities on this property with the appropriate parking and stormwater management facilities that are part of this plan. The application is being presented tonight due to the fact that we have a small area of wetlands and we are within the 150-foot uplands review area relative to that small wetlands area located in the corner of the property. The actual wetlands, as set forth in the report, you'll see is very slight. It's 100 square feet, which represents about 0.0015% of the property. No disturbances planned in the wetlands area. This is really an upland review application as a regulated activity. The upland review area consists of about 0.75 acres, and the disturbance within that upland review area will be approximately 24,400 square feet. In light of the small amount of wetlands located on the property, and given the fact that we will not be disturbing the wetlands area, we feel by and large that this is an insignificant activity. And James McManus, who is here to discuss his findings in his wetlands report, will discuss that with you. And then we have Sev Bavino from Cratchit & Jones, who is responsible for the design of the site plan, which is on your screen right now. And he's going to talk about the design and the stormwater system that is being applied for with the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'm going to turn this over to James McManus. He is our soil scientist for his report.
Good evening, everybody. Jim McManus, certified professional soil scientist with JMM Wetland Consulting Services. Offices in Newtown, Connecticut. I visited the site back in October of 2022 just to review the wetland boundary to see what it was like, and also to gather information for this report that hopefully you have in front of you. There is one resource that was flagged and identified. That was, my report says northeast corner. It's actually the northwest corner, as we all know. Typo. And okay, I'll have that. There you go. I'll take that. Yep.
Just pulling up your your new report that you just submitted, so.
That's fine. Again, in the northwest corner, a little wetland that kind of nips the property corner in that area. It's a wooded swamp with a kind of an intermittent water course that further downslope becomes a perennial unnamed tributary to the to a perennial water course, which is, I forget the name already. Why did I forget the name? Whatever. It does go down to a cold water fisheries about almost a mile down slope. Also of note is a 36-inch RCP that discharges stormwater runoff from the Plainville Ave right into the wetland itself. I did look at the function and value, even though the wetland unit on site is too small for an evaluation. I did take in the wetland, on site, and then I looked a little bit off site and came up with essentially 3 principal functions and values are associated with this little pocket wetland in the corner there. Groundwater recharge, discharge, sediment, toxic pathogen retention, nutrient removal and retention, things of that nature. The main factors for not having more principal functions or having a higher value is due to the disturbed nature of the actual site, if not the wetland in the area of the site property corner there. Low diversity of plant species, including invasives, and also that stormwater discharge goes directly into the stream core or the wetland in the intermittent water course there. We have no direct impacts to the proposal, which we'll go through in a minute. But I did look at indirect impacts, which deal with usually short-term, which is construction impacts from erosion and sedimentation, and also long-term impacts for water quality and habitat impacts. The first one we usually look at is erosion and sediment control, mainly around the construction phase. The soils are moderate to moderate high, mainly due to the silty texture of the soils. However, we do have a robust erosion and sedimentation control plan that was put together, and also the slopes where the development is proposed is relatively gentle. So with diligent monitoring and maintenance of the erosion controls, we're not anticipating any adverse impacts from that. Another thing that we look at is habitat loss through vegetation, tree removal, things of that nature. We are going to have some. However, we do have a forested or vegetated boundary between the end of what we're proposing and the wetland that's in the northeast or northwest corner. So that distance is going to be sufficient to do what we need to do, which includes the best management practices that we'll go through in a bit. Wetland hydrology and stream flow is another item that we look at for indirect impacts. Again, we have erosion, or we have a stormwater management plan that will capture the impervious runoff and then send it to the exact location where it discharges now, which is in that northwest direction to the wetland. And then finally, again, we have a robust, this is a potential water quality impacts. Again, Seb will go through the stormwater management program that we have, best management practices. However, and if you'll see after that is completed that we don't anticipate any on or off-site impacts to any adjacent on-site or off-site or even down gradient wetlands. And then finally, yeah, in conclusion, with diligent monitoring and maintenance of the erosion controls during the construction phase, we do not have anticipate any significant or adverse short-term or long-term impacts upon the regulated resources off and down, including the off-site and down gradient wetlands and water courses.
Any questions from the commission for Mr. McManus?
Rich, I'll start with you. Any questions, comments?
No questions. Thank you.
Dave?
I was just wondering about the condition of the riprap pad at the existing outfall in or near those wetlands. Is that in good shape, or would this be an opportunity to improve there?
I would say it'd be an opportunity to improve. If you look at my photo number 1, there isn't any riprap there. It's just a bunch of sediment that's been deposited through decades of yeah. If you look at picture 1, there you go. There it is. So that's what the outlet pipe looks like from the Plainville Ave RCP. So we certainly have an opportunity to not only take care of our business, but we could get in there and take care of that business as well.
That would be good. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Robert?
I would concur with the statement by the applicant that this is a non-significant but regulated activity, and I agree with Commissioner Fox that cleaning up the stormwater management system is probably in order. And again, as the applicant said, good soil and erosion control during the project construction should go a long way. So I don't have any significant concerns with the proposal. End of comments.
Okay, thank you. Neil?
I don't have any further comments beyond what's already been said.
Okay, Mark?
No questions at this time.
Okay, Ned? Are you muted, Ned?
Yeah, it was there.
I was muted. I was muted. And now I'm not. One thing I wasn't clear on is I know it's kind of like an intermittent water course, but where does this travel under the roadway to the south, Burlington Road?
It actually travels under Plainville Avenue. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Seth?
is it Plainville Ave or Burlington? The road that goes that's on the south end of the project.
That's Burlington.
Yeah. Okay. So doesn't that intermittent stream cross under Burlington Road somewhere?
Yeah.
It's
Give me a second.
eventually going to keep going. It's going to intersect with Unionville Brook. So
Okay.
this is going to flow down gradient. I would have to pull a map up.
No, I'm doing that right now, guys. Give me a second.
So the head wall in the photo there, that's where the entrance, and then it travels underneath the roadway from there?
No, that photo you're looking at now is in the northwest
Okay.
corner of the property, and that's the road runoff. And then that goes into a wooded swamp, which is this sort of, well, here we go.
That's basically the discharge point.
Yes, that is the discharge point in our northwest corner of the site.
So right here,
Okay.
and it follows through. You can see it. You can see the little stream.
There you go. And then that
intermittent
turns into perennial water course.
into this little water body here, which outlets, if you
No, I think
remember from.
No, it turns and goes down underneath.
No,
Burlington
yeah, no,
Road.
but I mean, it comes into here. And if you
Yeah.
remember when we did this application across the street for a subdivision,
Okay.
that wetland comes across, goes underneath
Yeah.
Burlington Road.
Yep.
All of it merges here, okay? And then heads on down all the way down to Unionville Brook. So
That's
it
right.
comes
Okay.
down, crosses under here, underneath River Road, comes back under, goes underneath
Okay.
the first bridge at Bridgehampton, and then hooks to the left or right and goes back under the trail back into the from Farmington River. So
Okay. Okay. I just, for some reason, I was thinking there was a small bridge at the south edge of that property, but I guess there's nothing there.
No. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I would disagree with Dave. What Dave said is it's a good time to address that pipe and that wall. The wall looks okay, but it just
Yeah, the
Just a
head
quick
wall was
clearing
the head
out.
wall was the head wall was fine.
yeah.
It's just discharging there, and it has been
Yeah.
for, you guys know better than I how long,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks. I do have a question for you regarding one of your comments about the soils. You were talking about how I think they were like moderate to high with fines. Is that correct?
Well, I was saying that the erodibility of the soils is considered probably moderate to moderate high, mainly due to the silty texture of the soil out there. However, we have a stormwater basin that's going to be used as a temporary sediment basin, and that the slopes are gentle to relatively gentle in the developable area. That being it, and we have the erosion control plan that follows the DEP guidelines, and saying all that, we come to the conclusion that we don't anticipate any impacts from erosion and sediment controls during the construction phase, of course, with diligent monitoring and maintenance throughout the construction. That was the gist of what that was about.
You kind of jumped to a conclusion because that's not where I was going. Because with the materials on site, how good are the soils for infiltration?
Well, I didn't do any, but it's silty texture. I'm going to guess that it's going to be slow.
So, so the reason I'm raising the question is that I have not gone through and really gone over all of the engineering work on this yet. But are you proposing any type of infiltration, whether it's through storm drainage, or my understanding that there's a roof canopy that's going to be there? Is any of that water going to be collected going into any type of a dry well? How is all that going to be handled? So is there any capability of infiltration rather than just runoff?
Commissioner, if I might, Seb Bavino is on the line. He's our site engineer. I'd like him to at least chime in on this because I know that he's well acquainted with those issues. Seb?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, so we can hear you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commission members, Seb Bovino, planner with Kratzer Jones and Associates, representing the applicant. The property discharges from east to west, northwest, to the northwest corner where it has been described, where the 36-inch storm pipe discharges from a 177, and the water is carried in the back of those Burlington Road backyards as discussed. There's no filling or wetlands right now proposed, and all the activities are in the upland review area as discussed by Jim and the attorney. The wetlands area is 119 square feet. The upland area is 33,322 square feet. The proposed grading maintains the current drainage pattern. A limiting area is proposed around the fuel pumps. The fueling shall be inspected right after each delivery is completed, and any spills shall be cleaned and disposed of in an environmental appropriate way. The on-call service is a company named DES Environmental Services. A stormwater maintenance plan is outlined on the plans. To address the water quality, we propose sheet runoff to a filter strip with a trench drain leading to a storm scepter by the curb cut near Plainville Avenue, which drains. After the storm scepter, the water drains to a riprap pad in the proposed detention area, which is right here. This flow goes through a sediment forebay, which is not shown on this plan for some reason, but it's right here, sediment forebay, and then via grass swale to the outlet structure, which is here. And then the outlet structure drains out toward the wetland via the pipe and the flared end with modified riprap. And the distance from this point to wetlands number 5, flag number 5, is about 45 feet. We are shown in the detention area an infiltration trench. However, the design is not taking into account any infiltration for calculation purposes. So the detention area is designed totally to handle the storm events from the 2-year to 100-year storm, regardless if there's any infiltration or not. But the attempt is to build a trench there, a storm trench at the bottom of the detention area, leading to the outlet structure. The roof drain will be collected from the building and discharged directly into the detention area, and also the canopy or the water from the canopy is directed to the storm scepter and then via the pipe to the detention area. So the roof drain from the building goes here to the detention area, and the roof drain from the canopy discharges toward the road and then into a storm scepter here and out to the discharge point, and then it crosses the storm, the basin at this location, the storm berm, and then out to the detention structure. So that's the extent of it. Basically, the drainage will be contained to the 100-year storm. The infiltration, if it happens, it's a bonus. It helps infiltration to improve the groundwater, to recharge the groundwater. We are providing probably 60% of the site remains green, grass or trees. So there'll be opportunities for infiltration in those areas too.
Okay, but I mean, one of the things I didn't hear is it didn't sound like you actually did any real soil studies on the site, just determine how good or how bad the soils are for infiltration. Is that correct?
We did not test. We would have to test at the bottom of the detention area, cut down 2 feet, which is the depth of the detention area, and then do a test at that location if we were planning to rely on infiltration.
Okay, no, thank you. I appreciate your answer.
Thank you.
I believe that's all we have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, nothing else? Any other engineering issues about the site, or was that
I just wanted the commission to know that all the appropriate notes and details are on the plan. Note the ENS controls are on the plan, the notes regarding who's responsible to maintain the plan, the erosion plan, and that the erosion control shall be maintained and inspected regularly. So if there's a damage, it have to be replaced immediately. And we have a construction entrance off of Burlington Avenue at this location here, parallel to the grades. So we're not entering from Plainville Avenue. To prevent any silt from moving toward the wetlands, silt fence, silt sacks, riprap, and mother slopes with grass swales are proposed. And we are willing to accept the stipulation that a riprap be installed at the end of the existing pipe as recommended. We have received staff comments and responded to them. If there's any additional comments the commissioner wishes to make, we'll be glad to hear it.
Seb, let me just correct that. We haven't done a review on this yet. Those, whatever comments you sent, those were probably our preliminary comments when you and I were discussing, but on this plan, we have not made a formal set of comments yet. So we plan on wrapping that up. We'll probably be getting those out to you next week. Sometime. All right.
Thank you.
And just one other question. I mean, granted, the map that's up is relatively small.
Mhm.
I see that there's this discussion about a 5-foot concrete sidewalk along Burlington Road, but
Hey,
is
let me-
that also looping around, so it's part of Plainville Avenue as well? I can't really tell because.
No, I can't really zoom in on this. I'm gonna switch to the site plan.
The sidewalk is proposed along Burlington Avenue only, not
Okay.
along Plainville Avenue.
Well,
Because-
okay, so it almost looks like it's some shrubs or so, okay, because what I saw wrapping around looks like it's some shrubs.
We didn't propose, Mr. Chairman, we didn't propose on Plainville Avenue because on the west side of Plainville Avenue, there's no sidewalks from here all the way to the bridge on the Farmington River. So there's sidewalks on the east side.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, I'll also chime in that I agree with some of the other commission members. I do not think that this is a significant activity. So I think we're all pretty much on the same page, but we'll ask all the commission members just to go on record and make a determination, but I don't think it's a significant activity. But it is a regulated activity, as Commissioner Eisner referred to earlier. Any other comments from any of the other commission members, seeing as how we went from the wetlands into some of the engineering? Rich?
No, I don't have any questions or comments, and I would agree it's a insignificant but regulated activity.
Okay. Dave, anything on the engineering side of things?
Yeah, I was wondering about the location and the extent of the existing contamination. I'm assuming that it's where the old building was, more in the southeast area.
There is a report in the file that we asked the engineering consultant to look at, and he submitted a report indicating that our detention area is not in an area that's of concern for the contaminants.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, one other thing. When you're putting in the new tank, should be doing some significant excavation, I guess, in probably an area where there's existing contamination. What are the soil handling protocols for that?
They'll be supervised by the environmental company that has this ongoing cleanup for this site. And I believe it's Chevron.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's all I have, and I agree with everyone else that it's a not significant activity.
Thank you. Robert?
No questions, thanks.
Neil?
Nothing further, and I agree, insignificant regulated activity.
Okay, thank you. Mark?
No questions and not significant.
Okay, thanks. Ned?
I just want to review. So the old tanks that were on this property have already been removed?
Yes,
Okay.
there's no chemicals, no tanks on the property as of now.
Okay. Yeah, I agree that this is not a significant event. Thank you.
All right, thanks. I mean, the question I have is, I mean, have they still been doing some of the well monitoring, and what are the results from that? I mean, I was involved in this site, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, because it came in as a blighted site in town. So I got a little bit of the background on the site at that point in time, and with the contamination and the wells out there. But have the wells been checked? And do you have any records as to what the condition is on the site?
There's an environmental assessment report that's we submitted to Bruce, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is, the wells are tested on a regular basis. There's a company that has been retained by the previous operator, not by the owner, but by the oil company. And they are responsible for the continuous maintenance of this, and with filing those reports with DEP, which they have been doing. And I think that happens on a quarterly basis. And I believe there's only 2 or 3 wells still active out there. For the most part, they've abandoned the rest of them. So it's an attenuation that's occurring, and they're going to continue to monitor it until a DEP says they're satisfied.
okay. All right, no, I was just curious because I know the property does have a history with it. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I don't have anything else. Bruce, you have anything that you need to add at this point in time?
No, the only thing is we just uploaded a color copy of the wetlands report. So if anyone wanted to look at it a little more detail, because the photos were all black and white and really hard to see. So I uploaded that.
Okay,
Other than my preliminary comments in my agenda review, we have not done a full review of this yet. So we hope to get our comments out next week.
okay, so I guess one of the things, actually probably need to address 2 things. One is, can I get a motion to accept the application, seeing as how we do believe it's a regulated activity? So would somebody care to make a motion to accept the application?
So move,
So
Stash.
moved, Mark.
Second stab.
Second, Mark.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to accept the application. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining. Okay, so we've accepted the application, and based on what I heard, is everybody figures that this is an insignificant activity, although it is regulated. So would somebody care to make a motion to that effect?
So moved by Eisner.
Is there a
Second
second?
by Dave.
Okay, so you have a motion on the floor to consider this a non-significant activity, but it is a regulated activity. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Then the other thing that's on the list is, do people think we need a site visit?
No.
I'm inclined to say no.
I vote no.
So.
I'll say no also.
all right,
I'll say
so
no, Mark.
we're leaning in that direction. So Bruce, I don't think there's a site visit for this one.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. I think that's about it for us tonight, right?
Yep.
So we'll go back and finish our reviews and we'll get the comments from engineering, and I'm assuming you guys will have a chat with the developer and we'll go from there. So
Yes, sir.
next meeting is what, 2 weeks?
Yes, I have it in front of me. You got it right there.
February 1st.
February 1st.
Very good.
Okay.
We will see you on February 1st. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
So next down the agenda is planners report.
Planners report. The only thing I have for you is I am still working with 9 Apple Tree. Have not heard back from them. I'm trying to get a schedule out of them so we can make sure we can go ahead with this. As it stated in my last in the agenda review, the silt or the hay bale check dams have been installed, but the overall establishment and what's the word I'm trying to say here? The erosion control, the just of the God. Thank you, Sandy. Stabilization. Boy, I'm a little rusty myself, but stabilizing the area with all the straw and the hay mulch, that has not been done. Last I talked with them, they've been having a hard time getting a hold of someone to do it. So, but the intent is to try to meet with George, Logan, and come up with a schedule. So we are ready to hit the ground like April 15th or so to start getting the work done. So in the meantime, trying to get that area hayed or stabilized or something.
Bruce, I think you mentioned fines. Are those in place now or?
Those are, I have a letter that's going to be going out to them, and it's going to be backdated from when the 10 days after. So when they failed to start doing the work.
Any other questions on this site, folks? No. I do have another question for you, though, on a different matter. The Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day, has anybody come up with a date on that yet? And
I was talking to Shannon, and she's been working at Shannon has been working at a date on that. I guess there's a couple of problems with some conflicts, so. All right.
that's what, it's usually April, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just curious, seeing as how we're at the end of January, was
Mhm.
wondering if there was a date. And it sounds like there's not.
Not at this time.
Okay. Anything else, or are you finished for the evening?
That's all I have.
Okay. So next up is approval of the minutes of the December 7th, 2022 inland wetlands meeting. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved, Ned.
Is there a second?
Second, Mark.
Any comments, corrections? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And we will adjourn. If my watch is working, I've got about 7:35. Is that about right? Yeah. and start the wetlands meeting. Sorry, the Conservation Commission meeting. I don't think there's anything there. I mean, do you have any business on this one, Bruce?
No, I
No
don't have
planners
anything.
report either? Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes of December 7th, 2022 Conservation Commission meeting?
So moved by Dave.
Is there a second?
Second by Robert Eisner.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the Conservation Commission minutes of December 7th, 2022. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining? Okay, that'll do it. Bruce,
Mr.
this is a
Chairman?
totally different question for you. Did you hear anything about the affordable housing project that was being proposed over on South Road? Did they get their information in on time?
I heard, I think they were rushing to get their application and I think, if I am not mistaken, I think it's due the end of the month.
Okay,
So they are working to get that done.
okay, no, thank you. Anything else from other folks?
I would just add that the land acquisition committee meeting for January was canceled.
It was?
It was.
You didn't get that, you didn't get that email, Bob, huh?
Okay, thank you. So, all right, so I guess we will adjourn, folks.